Hello again, brothers and sisters in Christ. Pastor Mike here. Hopefully this finds you well. I'm recording this after the 4th of July parade. Still a little bit tired. It was a hot day, and I probably look like I've had more sun than I've had in a while, so that explains it. So, midweek meditation, a lot going on. Much happening last Sunday. Interesting stuff coming up this Sunday, but really, looking back, I want to thank people. I want to definitely thank people for donating for the freeze pops. We can't really march, if we don't have those donations, be it monetary or physical for that. So appreciation for that in Thanksgiving. And thanks for the people that walked and helped. We had a wonderful crew. Hopefully you were at the parade and saw us if you didn't march. Had a great time. It was a wonderful crew. A hot day, so definitely cold freeze pops were well received on a day like that. So it was a blast. It was good. Thank you to everybody. And especially as I talked with Mission last week, reaching out, and especially the hospitality of it. I always love that line from Christ in last week's gospel lesson that, whoever gives a cup of cold water to a little one won't lose their reward. And I appreciate it because it brings up the simplicity of hospitality. Hospitality, especially in ancient days, could have been over the top, this, that, and the other. But the sheer simple welcoming and compassionate of, giving somebody to drink, offering a seat on a bus, those sorts of things are hospitable, Christ-like, and spreads the good news. And Christ's teachings continue this week, and it gets to be fascinating. We get into Matthew 11, and he is having a hard go with the people because he's receiving criticism. And there's numerous parts of this lesson, and the criticism one is really what I want to talk about. I'm going to get into the yoke on Sunday, and hopefully even connect it to the second reading, because I think those go together. But the criticism is fascinating. John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, look, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners, yet wisdom is vindicated by her deeds. A wild line, isn't it? He's bringing up that in many ways, John and Jesus both were deeply rejected by people in that day. John, because he was very outspoken and very simplistic, he was in a scene and very much in this place of simplicity. And then there's Jesus, who is in many ways the opposite. He will enter into people's celebrations, like the wedding at Cana. He eats with sinners and tax collectors. He reaches them where they're at. And he's like, he's just, showboating. He's just out there having fun. He's a party animal. He's not really concerned with God and those sorts of things. Well, he wasn't necessarily partying. He was meeting people where they were at. And it's interesting because on each end of the spectrum, these folks are not happy. And it's interesting because I find in it, because even as Jesus goes on, the ultimate critiques of these guys is surface things. And that is one of the things I want to bring up this week. Do we get way too concerned with surface stuff and not the deeper realities behind them? I think that Christians can often get caught up with that. One of my favorites is sometimes the obsession in some groups of Christianity of you have to wear t-shirts with Christian slogans on them, and you have to listen to Christian music to be a good Christian. Now, obviously, you shouldn't be listening to horrible music, you know what I mean? But on some level, if I'm listening to, Mozart or classical music or Charlie Parker, does that make me not a good Christian? Because it's so focused on this surface thing as opposed to the underlying realities that are there. So when we deal with people and we deal with things going on, are we getting caught up with surface critiques? I mean, it's interesting. As a person that I feel get caught up sometimes in my life with people critiquing minor pieces, I always find this interesting. I appreciate it in some ways. Because at the end of the day, what truly matters I'll tell you a story. My kids get haircuts. Probably not as often as they should because, well, their hair grows really fast and haircuts ain't cheap. And I always have a rule with them. I don't care what your hair is as long as you take care of it. I mean, really, that's ultimately at the end of the day, is that they can have any haircut they want. They want to have long hair, short hair. You know what I mean? You want to do a mullet. You want to do Liberty spikes. As long as you are clean and you take care of it, that's what matters. I'm not interested in the surface pieces of, well, is it matching the styles of the day? Oh, are they going to stand out? Et cetera, et cetera. At the end of the day, as long as my children are clean, are healthy, in those pieces, I'm just fine. And I think the church needs to remember that sometimes. Just as Jesus was reminding the folks following him in that day. They're mad at John for this, but John was right. And John was doing what he was supposed to by God. They're mad at me because of this surface thing. They think I spent it with the wrong people. But guess what? They're the children of Israel, good or bad. I came for them. They're the children of God, good or bad. I came for them. And that is the interesting piece of it all, brothers and sisters. We need to fix our eyes on what is truly important. And let's be honest, in today's world, it gets even more difficult because there are numerous voices calling us to care about those surface issues, those unimportant issues. Oh, is that guy driving the right kind of car? Because if he's not, he's obviously a horrible human being. It's an amusing example and this extreme one, but you can hear about that. What in the gospel is truly central and truly matters? That is what we need to continue to dig into. What is central to God? And that should be central to us. And that's what should matter. Something to think about, brothers and sisters in Christ. Grist for the mill, as I like to say, as we think about more things and as this world continues to turn. Above all, I hope you had a happy and healthy 4th of July. Hopefully you were able to celebrate independence and that wonderful document, the Declaration of Independence itself. That is our grounding and marker for this day. Hopefully you were able to stay healthy. Hopefully you enjoyed the fireworks. Hopefully any of our vets out there did not have the booms bring up anything negative in themselves. But above all, hopefully through the rest of the week and through Sunday, you can hear God calling, he can guide you, and he can bless you. All right, blessings, brothers and sisters. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.